I'm sure you've heard about a will, and I'm sure you've heard about a trust. But what is better to protect your assets for your kids and your family in the event of your death or incapacitation? Yes, it is something that is very difficult to talk about, but it's absolutely necessary to understand if you have people who love and depend on you. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to discuss with you the difference between a will and a trust. Hey, I'm Ryan, and I help queer families and their allies stay out of court and out of conflict by creating a custom plan that protects you and your loved ones and works when you need it. As we grow our families, it's important to have a set of instructions of what should happen to our assets in the event of our death or incapacitation. Unfortunately, when this is not planned out, it has a costly and timely end result. But one of the first things you're going to need to determine is how you plan on protecting your assets. Do you need a trust, or is a will sufficient? First, let's talk about what a will is. A carefully crafted will ensures what happens to your assets in the event of your death. It will accurately transfer your assets to your heirs and beneficiaries according to your wishes. This can avoid family conflict and costly disputes, plus protect those assets from some of the major misfortunes that can happen to your family members. However, having just a simple will is no longer enough in this complicated time. Consider how you would feel if you left all of your assets outright to your spouse, as many people do using a simple will. If your spouse remarries after you die, your assets and your possessions may go to their second spouse and never get to your children at all. In addition, if your spouse needs to go into a nursing home or needs long-term care at home, your estate may be completely eaten up by these costs, leaving nothing for your children or your grandchildren. So wills do have some potential exposure, which is why even the best drafted wills should be reviewed every 3 years to ensure that it still fits your family's wishes and needs. Wills are a basic estate planning tool, and everyone should have them. But there's still many cons to having a will. One of them is that a will must go through the probate process. This means that a lawyer has to file the will in court before it can go into effect. And then the court will supervise how your estate is distributed. In Tennessee, this process generally is expensive, can take 6 to 9 months on average, and it can take much longer if there's any issues with the will, if you have minor children, or if there's family disputes. Perhaps most important of all is that wills only take effect after your death. The only way to protect your assets during your lifetime and after is with a trust. A trust is an agreement between 3 people: the trustor, the person that created the trust; the trustee, the person in charge of managing the assets inside the trust; and the beneficiary, the person that benefits from the assets in the trust. While you are living, you play all 3 roles. Think of a trust like a vessel that follows you throughout your lifetime, and that's where we come in. We help guide you through the process of placing all of your assets inside your trust. When something happens to you, we have provisions in place that the next in line can step in and continue to manage your assets. And the best part is that we can accomplish all of this without the need for probate. But there are different kinds of trusts: irrevocable trusts, revocable living trusts, irrevocable life insurance trusts, asset protection trusts, special needs trusts, and that's just to name a few. So when you work with us, we're going to ask you a bunch of questions. Like, what is the size of your estate? Do you have minor children? Do you want your family to participate in the raising of your children? All these questions and more will help us determine which trust is the most appropriate for your family and to protect your assets. We know estate planning can be confusing and even scary, because it is, but it's something we need to do, especially in the LGBTQ community. We're here to guide you through every step of the process. Protect your family, protect your assets, and protect your legacy. Call and schedule a time to speak with us today. Let us review your assets and your situation and create a plan that best works for you. I'm Ryan with Memento Law, and we look forward to helping you.